with studio guests. At this time, we bring in the Minister of Information and Civic Education, Chenoba, where you can talk about President Bill the days and also other activity them. So, Minister, once more, good morning and welcome to the program.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Before we look at the on-the-get days, the ministry, one of the mandates now for ensure say they bridge the communication gap really between the public and that of the government. And so much emphasis be there on that particular area there. Inside President Bill this in second term so far. I mean, directly from the ministry mandate. How not don't they do this?
Well, as I say, I'm glad for the year, and I thank you for the good work we don't do, because for those who do that mandate, say we don't get for do it alone. We get for partner with the media, and I think say one of the things that we don't really prioritize for make sure say we communicate to the people of Salone. In the past, if you like say government they talk at the people, now we want to talk with the people. We change the way we do that day. First, we get a weekly press conference. We all man know. On a station and can carry a live for we. They are all across. People are in the waiting for talk about. Now people in the feedback, in the send questions and throughout. We also don't change the way government they function. The government of Salone just talk. We'll get platform. Not to win no more they did. Every one of the, I think, 12 press conferences that we don't do so far, we get somebody in a non-government, civil society, activist, business leader, they can then at the panel with we. We don't also prioritize for be very responsive. So any journalist in Salone will reach out to me and they go out of my way for respond. And also don't make a priority across government that we for respond and provide information we need, because now we're going to work together now we do this work. So that's something that we don't do and we try to do well. We also don't collect a lot of information. Sometimes what we do now, we your ministry, we are the middleman. So you want information from this minister, and they put that together and make sure so you get that information there. We flow. We don't increase with digital presence significantly. If now watch online now, the ministry get a functional YouTube page, with Facebook page, with WhatsApp. We get WhatsApp channel. We get X with them they call Twitter today. We're very, very functional, very, very active, and ordinary citizens and they reach out to we and quickly get answer. Also, citizens they tell who's topic safe. Like this week, tomorrow. When we talk about transport, all man don't mention, but the cost, the very high cost of flights, tickets to Salone. And so they bring all the principle them. We approach now that government, now you get them. Now the people of Salone and get the government, we the work for one. Not to say in the trade before like say we now the boss. But we own approach, we present build on set. Now that we for show the people and say, we are servants to the people, within they ask we for do, now we do.
Well, on that note, today now the program for give updates on government activities and also talk about President Bill in 100 days plus, because it's done over 100 days after the June 24, 2023 election. But first, we look at President Bill in 100 days plus now office. As a Minister for Information and Civic Education, how you can describe the President Bill in 100 days plus now office for in second term?
Well, I think the president in performance, they show say he get real experience, he know what they do, and then they don't be reflected in what they happen so far. The first job where any president get now for make sure say the country is safe and the country is secure, for protect lives and property. On that note, keep in mind we just come off from an election, tension being there. The opposition not even kind of parliament, but the president don't do a fantastic job for keep the country at peace. For make sure say the country they function, everything they in order, generally, lives and property protected. The second thing are the rule of law. For make sure say as a country, the law where we get, we uphold them. President we always say in our presidents we committed to the law. Then, if you're thinking about in performance, because first, without them tuning in, if you not do them tuning, they know that they happen. They want in the foundation, where most times some people in the overlook. But I make one start, they say, we get peace, we get stability, we continue the function. Now you go to the president in performance. The second important constitutional job with the president, now for bring this country together and for get a functional team. President Bill inside this in second term in 100 days, it will appoint the most diverse, the youngest, and arguably because I did it, the most dynamic cabinet in the history of Salone. about 1/3 of in cabinets now people already 40 years and below. 1/3 of in cabinets now woman them. This cabinet gets people them from every single district na Salone and every sector and section of the population of Salone reflected. Now, by any indication, now the most diverse cabinet we don't ever see in the history. And now the cabinet this way feel by the country. Salone a young country, you know. Now me and you now we reflected in this cabinet feel like we grandpa there, But President Bio don't make some. Then, apart from the cabinet, you not just appoint people, they appoint very competent people. It sets about, the open parliament. Then it sets about for let each ministry design their own strategic plan and the 100-day plans. I would tell you, say, each ministry don't do that on the right now. Then in signature, the flagship feeds alone. We don't see, say, you not just get obviously when I know Musa Kwaka, this man very well accomplished Sierra Leone. We don't put the young man as well. We are one of the 40 and under at the cabinet. Graduates from some of the best schools in the world, LSC, PhD, Oxford. This is a very competent person, President Bio don't put, but not so just in. You look at Ibrinkam, Dr. Kande Yomkela as well, with the work on energy and food and all the issues that they connected. Then they don't launch the Feed Salon program, we all don't see. They not just launch them, they don't get international partner support with the partner roundtable. You don't increase resources. Already they see boku money they can inside. Ministry of Finance don't commit, say they work towards the 10% for make sure see that 10% minimum of we budget over the next few years we will be committed to that sector. And then one area. So in flagship is set, you don't launch the program. You say 100, this is unprecedented. You don't bring the team together and we're all ready for go forward. But beyond that, I want to just mention before you come in, say because you get to look at what you don't do internally in the country and what you don't do externally, international affairs. This weekend, when I see incredible interview we do with Al Jazeera, we represent we very well. But then they come off the back of the excellent performance in the United Nations. One, it don't take Salone, as we all know, to the UN Security Council, but when you go recently in New York, President Bio be A+++. As a Sierra Leonean, put politics aside, you will be proud of the way we country to be seen now as a global leader within the Security Council, but the way they recognize we for what we don't champion education and because of the work the president don't do. So you don't see, say, we country, you don't keep the country together internally, you don't put together a competent team, you don't put together a very competent plan. Now we can roll out that plan, engaging the public. Then internationally, you don't continue for increase.
Now,
we expect in the world.
Now you talk about diverse, dynamic, and young cabinets. I beg your pardon. Excuse me. And you also talk about other things than you say President Bio don't do. But somebody they listen to you will ask you how this don't reflect on the ordinary Sierra Leoneans at a time where fear don't increase, EDSA to pop don't increase. And the last time the Minister of Agriculture been there, they read a figure from World Food Program where you see from January to now 79% of Sierra Leoneans them food insecure. How all these activities don't reflect on the president don't reflect on the ordinary Sierra Leoneans them when are the massive population of the country.
Musa, I want to tell you thank you first for we ask that question because it's a good question, right? One of the things that we don't commit to do now for say I know they just can and talk to people like say we don't understand say things are hard. President Bio understands say right now within a very difficult phase in the world. We get major global crisis will happen. We get the conflicts we still go on in Ukraine. We know say the world is suffer from global inflation and Salone self don't suffer. So I want to acknowledge to the people of this country say we know say things are hard. We understand President Bio feel that pain there. So all the work the way they ask how then it don't reflect on people in life. You can grab no more money and say, oh Lord, just put all things down. We poor the country. But President Bio one we put together the plan the way they settle and solve them problem here long term. So not to just follow week today and say, oh Lord, first the price go down. So you're right. Challenges and still there. But them plan here I just talk about. The respect who don't get internationally, the partnership agreement they will sign, the focus on feed Salone. We are the foundation. If you go Asia, the reason we make Asia, you're able to live there very well generally. Now because, for example, food very cheap. But salon still, even Yabas, if shortage there internationally, would they feel an eye? So this president will start by saying, Lord, do free education, because education are the foundation first for let enlighten, let get people away, get the law build with capacity. Now I don't say Lord do the one thing we will help we solve all of them problems here in the long term. In the short term, and I also Deputy Minister of Finance there, I will talk about some of the relief the way they don't with them Ministry of Finance they do. But I glad the way you talk about say the fact say we know in problems in there, people then they live in tough times economically, not to just salon around the world, but we want to make light of that. And that make, I go assure you, say, we president, this cabinet, every day, every second, every hour, we dey work for address the issue then, but no one just do on short term. We want let people then know say, we will solve this problem, we will deal with the feed salon problem. We produce we own food, we make sure so farmer then get money when the majority of the people who pick in and go school. The thing that President Builder outline. When NPR begin for show forth, will they increase with independence as a country? President Builder talk about food sovereignty. So that will not need for rely on international all the time, will lead to all them pressure on our economy.
So, Mr. Minister, in line with President being 100 days now, facing his second term, how many international travel them, what he don't do, and waiting all the international trip you don't bring back to the country?
I feel say this by now, this question now, you don't, Nine can say this question, you don't tire now. This question,
no, we'll not ever get that from
ask. So, as I don't say before, we president, anytime we president, you make a trip, they get a strategic reason. Now, for either they don't invite them for something important, for go champion and bring resources can to the country, or for solve them problem I almost I talk about. When a problem the way they affect them, because instead na salon person, they get people learn and they call them and know what thing they happen at the country. So yes, I mentioned say for example, you go UN right now, Europe. We go engage particularly with the European partners for attract investments to feed salon, for do the kind of thing that would help for change this country and for move the country go before. So I know some people are left for talk, hey, they travel, the last election, there'll be all these debates about that. I think what I want for invite the people of salon for understand, say, the president in goal, in commitment, now for do waiting best for the people of this country. So if you see make a trip, I will let people understand say now because he knows say that's something we will benefit salon.
And same way so inside the program we get the Deputy Minister of Finance, now Minister of Finance, when Bokari Kaloko, they can talk about the bilateral budget discussion we just end. But quick one to we listeners and viewers them. Yourself can be part of the program by we can send text message on the number 077 981 981 and also you drop a comment on our Facebook page as to what in you make up of President Bill in 100 days plus now office. The program Good Morning Salon they continue account with other studio guests. We now the Deputy Minister too, now the Minister of Finance Bokari Kaloko. We therefore talk about the budget discussion we just end. Good morning and welcome to the program, Mr. Kaloko.
Yeah, good morning, Musa.
Yes, the Minister of Finance don't complete budget discussion for the 2024 fiscal year. Waiting next after this discussion and how Ibn Talek make it the program. Once again, good morning.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, and I think it was the first time I ever came in 19.1. I don't be somebody who don't support me a lot, and I am excited for being here today. And basically, the budget process, we run an open and transparent budget process. For the past 2 weeks, you will notice that past 10 days, I don't chair the budget session. We basically be opened by the minister and the vice president at Bufris Hotel for the 2024 budget. We plan basically normally now for get an open budget based on the government Budget and Accountability Act of 2005 and Section 21 clearly states that the government will involve the public, the district budget oversight, and also the Decentralization Act of 2004 also emphasize that the non-state actors, the CSO. So during these past 10 days, over 100 people from the CSO, the non-state actors, District Budget Oversight Committee, the press, we don't involve in the budget process at the Ministry of Finance. But basically, it was divided into two. We got the revenue side and the expenditure side. And largely, the handle basically the one when they deal with ministries and particularly more of current budget, the one they will spend more, although we get few of the people that will generate revenue. But by and large, and a very interesting program, we don't should see. In fact, this is the first time, a novelty for me you get a minister chair the budget session. Normally, you get the director of budget and other players. In that, we get even people from the Ministry of Planning, we get NEMED, we get also directors then of various units at the Ministry of Finance, really add value to the system. And we'll be able to at least understand from every ministry which really happened so far in terms of their requirements. But basically, there were a lot of challenges during the period. The timeliness of the budget, the insufficiency of the budget, and other related issues then. But I think, say, all of us will recall that 2023 was a difficult year because we get election, and in that election, the government spent close to $100 million. And so this 2024 now, you will see difference now because we will get more money for deal with in terms of handling other ministries then. But we see the vision. For me, the key issue we are trying to bring out, particularly from the political end, because we make sure so we get everybody involved, even the ministers then, at the level of minister and deputy ministers, and the whole leadership of most of these ministries we are there, whereby we ask each one of them for tell me which are their vision in line with the Big Five.
You mean we can look at the Big Five and also the budget proper, but you talk about the past financial year or we did presently we did at the last quarter. You talk about $100,000 spent. Is that the money that Minister of Finance helped ECSL with for conduct the election?
Close. If you put it in the year term, it was more than that because other things they will do. But for every during the elections, we spend a lot of money, and I think so that's not a secret. It's all over, and we still continue for the expend for run this economy. So that $100 million, that's something we all around in terms of which we expend per the elections.
To ECSL and other EMBs.
A lot of them, if you look at the budget process, you will see the security forces them. We even extend most of the budget lines them because of the elections, which then be put in terms of budget, we exceed them, and other social institutions there where they deal with the people there. We make sure say we spend money for make sure say particularly for the poor. We as a government believe that we for support the poor people and vulnerable people in support with NACSA, we do a lot of things them. We support the people in terms of cash transfer and the rest.
So in line with you, they emphasize on how much on a spend on the election, the $100 million close to. Is it that this in any way get for affect MD them in waiting in the request for the yearly subvention?
Yes, it affect them for 2023. That's why I say we get comfort for 2024. Because in 2024, we're not going to spend that money again. So now, all the challenges that we'll face in 2023, we're not going to face that again. But one of the things we come out clearly for the budget session, if you listen to my minister, when they try to encourage ministries and departments and agencies them, for make them begin for look at sustainable financing, innovative financing, and how we will ensure see them be self-financing. And during the process of the budget, we see clearly where the Ministry of Lands tell we see, make we give them 30% for which they generate for fund themselves. That is a novelty.
That's waiting then they generate from the ministry.
From the ministry.
Okay.
They don't generate over 100 million billion so far. And so now let's give it 30%. When we want we own ministry. And I think that they're under serious consideration. There are a lot of other things we'll get for doing in terms of legislation. But for we, these are the kind of things we look forward to.
For understanding for somebody we not take part in this year's budget, but they listen to you now, the budget discussion key actually divided into two. You get the SOEs them we then can do the at the state-owned enterprises them, and also you get ministries, departments and other agencies that wouldn't do on their own. But when we look at the SOEs them we the fiscal risk department actually can handle during the budget discussion, like the airports, port authorities, LICO, Salpo, Saratel, the National Shipping Agency, EDSA, Guma, and other one them. For the past budget discussions them, don't they raise concern? And some of them institutions are even somebody they listen will tell you, see, then not able to function, and sometimes they come back and ask for bailout from government. In this year's budget discussion, what are the concerns of the institutions there so where governments for depend upon for generate income for them?
Yes, basically, that particular one will be handled by many other colleagues, but notwithstanding, I'll be also involved in some of them. But what would it say for talk about the budget process? You therefore talk about how you want to raise your revenue. And we get a lot of experienced people in the budget process. And we at the Ministry of Finance, we not just sit down with the left the ministries there for they raise the revenue. With the big ideas then come and support how they increase the revenue them. But generally, if you notice so what they do with them, but with them ministry and then department there, we get revenue sharing capability between them. Some of them will start with 20%, 40%. Oh, don't give them more now. But we'll continue to monitor them in terms of how they will improve the revenues them. This is a process. It's a process. It not going to happen overnight, but it's something that we will continuously watch what they do. But definitely, get institutions like the Goma them, there are a lot of activities that really go on in terms of how they can capacitate themselves, how they can improve the revenue. And that is why we would go out internationally. We always look at private sector. Our private sector will come into some of them institutions there and improve them. So that is basically the thing they try to do for ensuring most of them departments there, they're able for self-financing and also generating revenue. We go bring come to the government. Because at the end of the day, we want to see, that is what we want to see in the country. We want to see institutions the way they bring revenue, just like the banks them. Today, I can tell you, in 15, 20 years ago, we began challenge with the banks then. But today, the two major banks then, they bring a lot of revenue, they even pay dividend to the country. And that's exactly, even if you look at NatCom, all of them, they don't improve. You see the revenue when they bring inside the country, maritime. So we will continue to watch them and see how they optimize some of the institutions.
So the process on the budget here is very key because they make different MD them share idea and talk on challenges them, and also they present to owner the Ministry of Finance the state where they stand for let them improve on whatever service they give to the public. How serious some MD them they take this whole process, because get some cases they also we reported they say some MD they not go, some go late and all of that.
No, this will be a very serious one because if you get the vice president, we chair the policy hearing, the minister, that's why we insist that.
Then at the opening, I talk about the process itself.
Tell you, at any point in time, if you don't get the minister or the deputy, I know they allow you for come inside. Because the first seriousness that way you don't count on your own. And there were one or two challenges there, but we schedule them, their ministries and the one particular one began to do our ministry because the minister be involved in certain things. He asked me, and we get another date for them. And only one or two times that happened. But all of them, we ensure that all of them can inside the process. And at the level of minimum deputy minister or head of institutions throughout the process. And because we served the day as ministers, trust me, it was a very refreshing discussion. And me personally, honestly, you know, I come up from the private sector, I don't come inside the public sector. I learned a lot. As a minister, I only close to 2 years at the ministry. I think that's one of the most important. I really learned a lot, and it give me more idea how those institutions they work.
Now, when you look at these budget discussions, what's in the Ministry of Finance lay emphasis on? Because most time we discuss budget discussion that take place, Ministry of Finance go tell you, say, we want programs and we government already don't start, we MDs and don't start for continuing, and therefore come with now this budget this year. For this year's budget discussion, what's in the emphasis been there on?
Well, for particular ministries that we now more of expenditure, we try to focus tendency not do more than 5 activity. You don't come with 200 activity you want to do, we get limited resources. So we in terms of the policy directive, we tell them say, okay, we will continue with you do, and at least limit that to 5. So this is the medium-term revenue budget. Now from 2024 to 2026, you go do something for 2024, 2025, 2026. You continue. So we try to limit the in terms of the ask. And we also will align some of these as we will see in the broader context of the objective of its excellency. And we particularly focus on the big 5. Because anything we go deal in terms of the education, the revamping the public sector, on digitalization, youth employment, the key for we. So we'll be focused on limiting it at the same time, directing it towards achieving the objectives of the Big Five.
So at this discussion, the Ministry of Finance in any way gets certain MD them where they go say not kind of too pleased with and disappointed with, because in any area they expect say something they waiting for improve on in terms of waiting on they give to them in the subvention.
Well, honestly, we not get any ministry who are not pleased with, because if you see this new government we come, and I can tell you the reason why we want the leadership of most of the MDs them for come. Now from what carry from the ministers them, the vision, how they want running states there. And I can tell you, particularly the people that we come so far, they were very. I was very impressed, because they will tell you, see, even the presidency for choosing sets of people, and it does with me, because that we don't talk this law. These are people who are very competent. It was very clear from the budget process, and all of them want something. We all want one government. We all want to achieve objective. And at the end of the day, now we duty for watch and see what they want, and ensure say what they want fit inside we got our objective. So that a process, and we will continue for watch. And listen, the budget process not people say if you ask for 5 millions, we forgive 5 millions. Some of them going for increase that, because it depends on which they ask for. If we feel as a government say waiting this particular ministry or department need, if we get more money, we add more value for achieving the objective, definitely we will give that money to that particular ministry or department need.
Now continue for the with we as we look at President Bio in 100 days in office. It's very important that we get a view of some people in the country. And according to some people in Freetown, they don't call on President Bio for make a look inside the price control and plenty other thing them. Then people are talking this inside our interview to Radio Democracy, where they talk about President Bio in 100 days in office. Well, some of them people in Freetown explain more. So we intern reporter Alassane Kamara.
Make a begin analyzing one after the other. So the education sector, I don't see any improvement, because they say free quality education instead of the worst. I don't see the quality of it. When you go to certain schools, then you're gonna say free quality education. Because the suffer. In fact, they may not see the quality of the education. Even the results, the way they come out, the system, wow, everything just mix up. Me not see anything with improvement. Where you go say, okay, doing this 100 days, you will see slight improvements for sure. Say yes, maybe in the future things will look somehow change. I don't see that for now. Although we pray for make things change, because anyhow we be now we government, now we don't put them. But for now, I don't see anything will change to the education sector. Instead of it just they go from bad to worse. From MPSC was all also my practice all in Picking they go university, picking they go secondary school and not mature. So it's too much. Secondly, in terms of this fuel crisis, and they no say fuel in a political community and fuel in a country every 1 month making two. Now so we don't see now how things they go. Fuel they go up, price control not in the country. And right now we will not be watch at the few people that we employ. Although yes, the few people that we employ, the salary not even match up. In somehow better, because every month you able to get which you able to live on. If we watch to the majority of the one that we not employed, they're suffering too much, because if fear little bit gets control in a country, it make things somehow better. Transportation, especially the goods that we come on at the provinces, it look somehow better. But if the transportation the price just escalate, they go up, inflation they take place, I don't see anything good where they happen in the country. Even when we look at goods, everything just they go up. Me for now, I don't see anything better. I don't see anything better, because with all waiting you don't see, me not see anything better. So I don't see good assessment. The assessment's not good. Okay, like the agriculture sector, because maybe they talk concerning more of food agriculture sector. If we watch the country, the way the city don't congest, I say the majority don't come on at the provinces, don't come at the city, and the city don't congest. Little rain, every side don't flood. Because if the one that them able to provide at least agriculture, because when they talk, say how they empower the agriculture sector, so food will look better, but we don't see anything. Everybody don't come in at the provinces, don't come at the city. City don't congest. Agriculture sector, we don't see any improvement. Dem say dem go do this, dem say dem go do that, me no see anything. Even with local food in, e expensive pass the one they sell wey dem dey put from overseas. Whilst we local food for look more, get price control minimal, e look expensive more.
The 100 days in office of His Excellency the President, Brigadier Julius Madabio. If we assess in 100 days in office, to me, I feel say much need for be done because the hue and cry among the people is too much. Okay, so like if you say much need for be done because in terms of the free quality education, because we know the government don't invest so much in that, but still the people in the cry because much the way parents and they pay for as well in terms of taking care of them picking in a school, and still they pay charges. We they see hike in prices of basic commodities just they go up, and only they hear much from the government side as to what thing that they do for reduce them prices their way they go up. So like we expect much from the government. We really want to let them do more as we the people they really suffer. Of course, in terms of percentage, me go give them 35%.
Okay, me for this 100 days, we mother build on sit on a power. Usa happy where a dongo launch defeat Salon na Pujon district agriculture. Then the second side, are glad the back where they don't make peace between APC and the SLPP government. But if you look at back the economy, like the fuel, where they don't ace up, the money we would the poor one them. Like if you go back, we get light, we get freezer there. They don't ace back orange money. Things are hard per way. Then like even the airports, the airport tariff back don't ace. How some of the family they want come but they not go able to come because they then say like my sister they grumble say they don't ace the tariff by the airports money. So how them for canal for let they can't spend December they say they not go able to come. People in some man they pass through Guinea for can't see family there. But we want to talk to the government of Sierra Leone, make it go able minimize this thing. What would they do? We the poor one then we the suffer. Do you we they talk to the government? May able minimize but good thing for we.
Okay, you just listen to some people in Africa. We give their own view on waiting and think about President being 100 days in office. Well, from that, definitely we'll bring in the Minister of Information and Civic Education, Shenoba. You have just listen to people in. But waiting and think about President being 100 days.
I think, as I said before, we acknowledge, we agree, say things tough. We're in a very tough place. Not to try we can't tell you say all things will fix this. No, not we need issue the way people need to talk about. Cost of living, prices of things. That thing that will affect we say. We be men are Sierra Leoneans. We save, we buy things there, we get family there, we get people there.
But you buy fuel?
Of course.
Fuel are one thing we
buy fuel.
You buy fuel
yes.
for your official vehicles?
Yes. And they buy fuel.
What about you cheating? You get cheats?
If you like, you get cheats, you get for buy fuel. You get a V8 motor car, they drive, they buy fuel. So again,
so government gives
plus
sufficient
as a
fuel.
family, me picking in to go school and they buy fuel. Just again, like what you facing at the government, I know say the narrative normally in a salon is so easy for talk about this, like say people within our government, we in a mass will come out, we just get all length here. I don't want for dismiss say yes, we work for government anywhere in the world, you get privileges. Government give you resource system, indeed. But it don't mean say you as a Sierra Leone, as a citizen, not also they connect to the issues of the happen. So I just want to say directly to them people when we talk about the issue. For example, they talk about education. Salon government, now we spend the highest amount of money of any country in the world as a percentage of the budget on education. This president, yesterday we talked Al Jazeera, in passion for education, almost unmatched. So no, while I land on that, so we want to talk about how they address them problem here long term. The vision of President Bill is let we increase with human capital development. If they continue, even in this time, during COVID, almost all around the world then cut the education budget. President Bill maintain them. So when you talk about how they deal with them problem here long term, will they continue for even fuel when you talk about, the government of Salon still they pay subsidies. What we do now adjust the inflation rate. We understand that, and yes, it pinch people, and because true, we not don't increase, for example, minimum wage. So we understand that if you get home, without the explain so if you get home, let's say they receive 10 billion in loans, right? but you dey go buy thing there, you dey buy in dollar. Let's say na Turkey you dey go buy, or you dey buy goods wey dey come out Turkey. That is 10 billion, that is 20 billion we don't receive. In actual value, if today na be $500 you buy with time, now na only $250 you use for that same money there. So yes, it don't affect we as a government, we ability for spend. It don't affect the people. But while people focus on waiting, President Bio they continue for do.
Now you get from you get from the people. One issue there is concerned, but now the issue of EDSA. For now, when you buy like 100,000 EDSA, 20 units, then they give. You buy 50,000, then they give 10 units. Make a come.
Okay.
And also, just last week, they don't add GST per money transfer. This plus other concerns them people and get. Then think say the government for the consider for reduced expenditure. But in the face of all this, government still or the president still they make appointments them where people think say some of their appointments are no they help the situation. Okay. As the Minister for Civic Education, what's in a government position on some of the issues here so where people they raise every now and then.
Musala just say you take quite some time for ask the question, so I hope so you give me the same time for answer the question, okay? Because you ask multiple things to answer that question there. So one, you talk about EDSA and the cost. I want to make clear, let people understand. Even with EDSA, government they provide plenty relief to poor people. We still subsidize, for example, the provision of electricity all across the country. Government don't more than triple the availability of electricity across the country. It's not availability.
We talk about costs and affordability.
Okay. So now then I will explain, but you don't want to give me chance. If you want to talk, wait.
Okay, Mr. Minister, go ahead and explain.
So, one, people and government they spend money for make sure say we get the electricity across the country, energy, affordability. But people, for example, I'm a village in Jimmy Bagbo, right? One day electricity not being the people who they pay at a lower cost, even with the increase of the EDSA tariff, where everybody they talk about, where you they talk about. So the base price is still extremely low, especially for poor people. And what they do as a government, because we not get the technology for make sure say that base price they applicable across the board, would they make sure say the first 20 units where you buy at a lower cost. Me and you where they buy at we get for use more than 20. Where you buy the next 20, now the money they go. So in terms of affordability, government didn't say, you talk about NAXA, government is still targets low income homes them and provide resources, direct cash transfer to the low income homes. I know they cancel now suggest say enough.
Okay.
But I think the point where you make now about appointments, about waiting government they do, because you come out there, but just want to address the root cause before I come to the major issue at all. So government do the appoint. I don't hear plenty people
consider the appeal.
Well, they don't even get 10% for now. They get 5 below 10%. So this is now a process.
So how much did they get now exactly?
I don't want to tell you, but it's again between 3 to 4. Yeah. But I can tell you, with commitment in ensure we push more money inside it. And if I think say we get the people from the press, they clearly where you see exactly what we plan for today, and we don't commit for 10% within the next 3 years. Not to say now immediately, but one of the most important things we want to do in agriculture, the private sector they want to attract, because if you can see the feed salon, even a lot of people don't come forward now, because if you want to do agriculture, the government responsibility now for ensure say you land, you prepare your land, you get the land, and you put systems around the land. So when you don't put in system, then they attract international financing people. Let me go carry inside say, okay, I think you see us about this agriculture. Maybe I bring a big farm Canada. In Gambia, which things that happen. And just recently, the Minister of Agriculture go South Korea, where there's a lot of laudable program there where the minister don't put aside. And as a Ministry of Finance, when they think about innovative financing, okay, when they think about fund management, how we ensure so create funds, we go make sure say the ministry not go lack any resources for ensuring they meet their objectives.
In this year's budget discussion for the fiscal year 2024, we said government hope for get this copper they want to distribute for 2024. Is it homegrown or from donor partners?
Well, if you look at the budget process and in recent times, we try to see how we can mobilize domestic revenue. Because at the end of the day, if you want fund yourself, the space for not funding not limited now. Even the recent IMF World Bank meeting in Marrakesh, clearly the states see the world economy get for shrink, and everybody it's difficult for everybody. But the only way you can certain about now which you for produce for yourself. In recent times, when they look at various innovative financing model, them when they think about the SPV, when they look at issues around reserve-based lending, because Sierra Leone we are endowed with a lot of resources, when they sit on almost 4 trillion assets that this country are. But I can tell you, the way we don't go about we assets, in particular with minerals, them, we don't be do the right thing. And I can tell you, President Madabio, this time around, they think seriously about how we will approach for use to assets them for make way for generate revenue. And that's a serious conversation where they go on now.
So in short, the revenue now homegrown, now up to.
Yeah, basically we will focus more on domestic revenue.
How much una hope for gets from domestic revenue for fund the 2024 financial year?
Well, we'll not conclude the process yet. As I say, we did it now on the retreat. In the next 2 weeks, we don't finalize the numbers then, and the Minister of Finance will can clearly na Parliament for tell you exactly which will generate in terms of revenue.
Oh, it's a quick one. We dey come take work about, but quick one. We already don't get the financial the 2023 Finance Act. We don't begin implement, and people don't raise concern about the taxation inside the 2023 Finance Act. Minister of Finance don't go back for go prepare or for go strategize for raise revenue and or government expenditure. How the people, ordinary people, they at the center of our discussions then?
Well, if you listen properly, you will notice that we don't get a lot of engagements with the banks, with the telcos, with all major players there. Even us at Friday, we get meeting with the manufacturing agencies there, manufacturers there for talk about the budget process. Definitely, we believe in the people. We believe for involve the people. That's why we didn't ask you today for talk about the engagement process in terms of the budget. So when it comes to the Finance Act, we'll definitely engage. I know that was a small challenge the last term, but this time I will not correct that. A lot of engagement will take place now with various institutions that will relate to the Finance Act. But I want to make something very clear. Governments, they only get revenue from taxation. Okay? And if all these budgets we will talk about now about taxation, now only way will they get money. We no go for kind dependency, we'll get budget, they expect see America or donor partner for fund we. That's something we in the medium term revenue strategy we don't plan. We expect in the next 5 years our dependency on international partners in terms of funding could be limited. That is why if you look at one of the things where the president come out, we revamping the public sector. In Rwanda, we got what we call the CPI, Country Policy Institutional Assessment. In Rwanda, because of the improved governance system, we find out saying Rwanda, they get a lot of grant financing. We currently they at 3.2, Rwanda they at 4.0. They attract over 2 billion in terms of grant financing. And Sierra Leone, because of the revamped public sector, we try to put things in place for improved governance. At the end of the day, we're going to forget some of this grant financing. We're going to help for move the country forward.
Okay, continue for the with we. Bokari Kalokona in name, in the Deputy Minister of Finance too. And they talk about the budget discussion we just end and waiting next after that. The program, Good Morning Salon, they continue now. Let me listen to Daddy Wakabot.
Another morning again. I say Monday, man. I say Monday. I say 100 days now office. I say no to 100 central. I say no to 100 ourselves. I say things for them begin take shape now. And if you ask me for give me opinion about how they see things, I say, me I no look clear, man. I say, me I no look clear, they think that. Now they say, I say, look like say, if now we don't reach on the days, I say, This me good friend with the part left there. And you say, by now, go begin take action. That if now one lane go before. Or if you want lane come be. I see person the same report that say, if they complain to me democracy people, how now daddy, and they tell you what make them sack away. Now they say, I say, help me. Now I say, possible. I say, gonna man with them they tell for do something. If gonna man with them they tell for do something, I say, for don't do things them bo. We still live by election business. Now they talk about dialogue and peace go before. I wish me and Google she don't want no one now. And I send me request program. I say, talking about request. I say, CPA party. I say, don't turn over. Oh. I say, turn over. I say, no to all man gladio. No to all man gladio with that signature there. Where then say, Osa Mugo put. Not all man gladio. I see one person, they tell me, say, that you are about what you have left me. Not about the peace business. Now, so back, hold on, yaga. All of a sudden, that's what you do inside 2018. You go back, all the talk, say, 1, counting manual. He say, then quarantine, I put spreadsheet counting. He said 2023. He said, all the talk, don't balance. Everybody balance. Everybody make it 90. No. Now I come back. He put peace day. Now we then tell me say Osamu and say na for himself no my laugh. I say for Samu na for himself I say bo. Where that boy? I say we papa tell her I say we two no go say for am. I say papa tell her tell say the NDC na stepping stone be want man. I say don't leap over. I say no get nothing for do with NDC again. Finally, I say na when NDC diamond. I say all the Yadina for Kango the bearing of NDC. At the waiting on my person tell me again say, vote for NDC. I say, me and some man will more so long. I say, NDC, oh. I say, brother Baxi for sure. I say, the leader in back in be don't go sober. And the ones that waiting a corner, I say him be don't go back to the one here. I say him back the blow one. Now they say as it was in the beginning. It's now and never shall be. Then two Alusanya Alasanya together and forever. Me na Jonah Ebu Akabot.
Program is still listening to now. Good morning, Salon. We come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. We still get we studio guests then at the program. We get Minister for Information and Civic Education, Chernoba, and also Deputy Minister to the Minister of Finance, Wina Bokare Kaloko. I come to you, Minister for Information and Civic Education. The 100 days, citizens don't they point to increase in fuel price, increase in basic commodities, EDSA price, and also GST on the other issues. Them, what think you the point at landmark achievement of President Bio for improve the life of the people in practical?
Landmark achievements. We see, as I don't mention, I feel like you come back with the same question and count them all around. For change a country, for transform a country in a landmark way, you need a plan, you need a structure, you need a system. Landmark, President Bill just don't launch the most comprehensive development agenda we will ever get in the history of this country, the Big Five, starting with feed salon. Feed salon don't be launched. We don't see donor that already contribute resources. The minister just points out, say, which will they look for, not to just for increased government investments in agriculture, but for also increase. So if we move this country forward, we feed yourself. You can't feed yourself in 100 days. Within the president don't do now for lay the foundation. I know say the way sometimes we ask this question, when our canal say, oh, president, this one can't see. No one thing they will save salon. Now a set of actions there.
Okay.
We integrated. So if you take feed salon, you add onto the education investment we President Bill don't do, the incremental way they do in continue for invest in education. You take technology and innovation. You don't put a very competent minister under. Will you look at that sector comprehensively? Will they invite investments come? You take youth unemployment. You look at what President Bill they do yonder as well. And then the reform of the public sector. Everybody they complain at this country for many years, say the problem in our civil service. But nobody, no leader, no one day make that a national priority. So President Bill don't do that. So when you combine all length in the my brother, it don't lay the foundation. For there, we move beyond for just talk.
So
for solve that problem.
From that hope day for the citizens them in
Look,
President Bill in second term?
Not to just hope day for the citizens them. The citizens of this country for no guaranteed that when President Bill implants them, all of them be fully implemented. When he succeed with feed salon, and keep in mind that as I collect for point out to people them, we been choose education. All man say it's too ambitious, we're not ready for them, and all that. Today, all around the world, President Bill salon we respected for the transformation they would make. We don't achieve gender parity, for example, primary and secondary enrollment. We don't get more women there in STEM now, we country now. All the world they look at we come for education. So that same way we President Bill talk and do by education, it puts that same energy, don't puts the competent team there in place for make sure say feed salon in 5 years. Salon will be a place where the world go look at, the rest of Africa go look at, say, this now be a poor country, will be the import food, but now they don't achieve what in President Bill call food sovereignty. So we ambition that.
Mr. Minister, the role of any country in development, not just left in the hands of the leader them, the ordinary citizens get to role for play. In all of this going forward, waiting for be the citizen in your role for ensure say the country get them right.
I'm really glad we asked that question. I know so not get time, but now again, President Bill in wisdom, for the first time, they appoint a ministry of civic education. This now a president will understand, say, like how you say, me party kaifala kelek for calling peopleship. The idea say, for let the country change, you need leadership, but you also need the people. Me happen for beliefs now the leader and they set the bar, and they lead the people. So what will they do at the Ministry of Civic Education? Well, they can do a national consultation on what in we role as citizens, how they define that role. The role they play in energy independence, the role they play in climate, the role they play for advanced gender, for advanced national cohesion. So a lot of people they like for talk down at we country. I've been talking the other day, say people they glad they say will not get MCC. MCC is a $500 million investment in energy where they change your energy. I go gladly for that. But all that is civic education, now civic engagement. So we'll bring all lengths here in place. We engage the citizens and see say we put salon above all else. I make us say for the first time, Saptu, and I assure the people of this country, President Bill in agenda we don't set, the team we don't set, now the most comprehensive and the best we could take this country forward and in the right
thank
place.
Thank you to you, Chaino Banaine, Minister of Information and Civic Education. Maybe they talk about President Bill in 100 days in our office and things that we don't do. Over to you, Bokari Kaloko, Deputy Minister of Finance, too. What next going forward after the budget discussion?
Yeah, after the budget discussion, definitely the minister will read the budget. But I think we get a lot of challenge as a country, and I think that's why the president don't appoint competent people in a position, because at the end of the day, you don't see the challenges the way you don't talk about the way the Minister of Information and Civic Education don't talk about. I think it's a process.
Okay.
And we at the Ministry of Finance commit to all those processes then, and we will continue to engage and see how we can change the narrative.
Okay.
And I want to assure you, see, most of we within at the forefront, we are very competent, and we use the space, whatever space we get internationally, for clamor and see how we can improve the mobilization of revenue within the economy.
Okay, plenty thank you to you. In name Nabokari Kaloko, in the Deputy Minister of Finance, to be talk about the just concluded budget discussion we done and waiting next. And also we'll be getting Chenoba, Minister of Information and Civic Education, we take will listen and view them through President Bill in all the days in terms of system and structure don't put in place for better the livelihood of all Sierra Leonean. Plenty thank you to all to be with guests inside this edition of the program Good Morning Salon.
Thank you.
Thank you.